Hello, my name is Darrin Milling, and to those of you who are following my page, thank you. And to those who are visiting, perhaps just to watch this video, welcome. I'm not a big internet person. I don't look at analytics nor number of followers, and I'm not making any money with the internet, and I'm not looking to make any money with the internet. Um, I would like to share my perspective regarding the case that occurred with the New York Philharmonic involving two victims, one Kara Kaiser and Amanda Stewart. Um, for those of you who are not familiar with those names nor this topic, I apologize, as I will not be going into great detail to give you any background because I think that it's been discussed quite a bit and there's enough public media references about the case. So I'm really speaking only to an informed classical audience that might be following this page, which is really my music page. So just to get to the point, for those who obviously are aware and know about the cases, um, I look at this from the standpoint as a former board member of several organizations in the U.S. as well as here in Brazil, and and I see a breakdown of institutional governance. Obviously, the victims need to be attended to and cared for, well cared for. Also, the perpetrators need to be prosecuted because basically crime of any nature in any institution is it's crime and it's illegal, and there's really not much to say about that. So and for the personnel management that has to be the closest of representation of the institutional governance and authority figures, for them to be absolutely clueless and not taking a proactive step to immediately intervene and to basically, respond to this, I think is really a shame. And also the HR department, which of course has more of a legal responsibility to address such issues, which I'm sure that those issues were known. Um, eh, you know, their lack of response is liable, and if they were, of course, um, instructed by their higher ups, executive management, to not um, you know, to not, um, proceed with jurisprudence, protocols that any normal institution would have to take in a case of sexual, harassment or abuse. Then, I mean, I would say that the executive management also has to be, reassessed. And that being said, the people on the boards of directors, I mean, you have a responsibility if you're on the board of directors to not just enjoy the title and to see your name in the programs, but to also inform yourself about the institution, and about other possible models, as well as to read reports with details and ask, valid questions, to even visit the institution, um, and for sure to be following any potential, polemic issues that could impugn the reputation and the look of the company. So, I mean, if you're a passive board member and you're not really interested and you've been sleeping, then you probably should just leave. And if you're an executive director and you were either actively allowing this to happen or you, um, well, God forbid, if you are the person that is actually, somehow inadvertently or directly influencing this culture, then yeah, your ass needs to be, fired, and you need to leave. Regardless, you have to have a consciousness. But hopefully, someone, in the board would see that and be able to have the authority and power to evaluate an executive to take those actions if necessary. And of course, if you're an upstanding, fine person like the current executive of the New York Phil, who is named Gary, who is a wonderful clarinet player and also a great administrator. He's just come on board, and I have no doubt that he's going to be, taking over, these matters quite seriously, because they've unfortunately come up again because of, I guess, rehiring of the perpetrators, and of course there's this complications of non-disclosure agreements. There was even a well-organized protest at Lincoln Center about the non-disclosure agreement, which is withholding one of the victims from being able to speak about this. I mean, any real judge. Well, wait a minute. Of course, it's New York, right? So, I mean, any judge that is a mature, educated adult probably needs to question why a symphony orchestra would have to have a non-disclosure agreement in place in the arts. This doesn't make any sense. Kara is not a CIA agent. She doesn't work for NASA. And there are no other employees that are CIA agents or NASA or any other high security level agents working in the orchestra, at least as far as we know, right? That being said, since most of these institutions, albeit private, but also depend on, public funding, a community trust, and are supposed to be transparent, there should be no need for a non-disclosure agreement for non-security institutions, especially a symphony orchestra. So that's kind of a no-brainer. And frankly, if there is need for one, then some people should need to be replaced in upper management and possibly even on the board itself. So that's yeah, I'm all for pointing the finger at the perpetrator and everything, but let's get real. This happens under the watch of an institution that has a lot of eyes and ears. You know what I mean? There. So let's all grow up. And as far as the management, which is, I mean, the personnel management is like the closest ear of authority to any orchestra. So if they didn't know what was going on and haven't taken any proactive steps, then yeah, their asses definitely need to be fired, or they have to leave, or somebody needs to re-educate them, send them to a training camp or something like that. And HR with the legal department, if they had any, if they had any knowledge of this and either covered it up or produced a non-disclosure agreement, then that department, both departments need to be replaced. So I'm just so sorry to say that. That is my opinion, of course, as a former board member, because I see how great institutions with wonderful mandates get totally screwed up by incompetent, lackadaisical and corrupt individuals.